he must fight to prove the truth behind a dirty cover-up.
Have you some inside knowledge of this matter?
Charles Lawton, Ray Milland, and Maureen O'Sullivan star in The Big Clock, Thursday on AMC.
To me, music is more than just one instrument. It's a whole orchestra playing together.
Jimmy Stewart plays the man determined to discover a new sound.
Haven't found it yet, but someday I'm going to find it.
And when he did, popular music never sounded the same. June Allison and an all-star cast co-star in the American musical classic, The Glenn Miller Story. Sunday on AMC.
Silent films were never really silent. Music would underscore the drama or the comedy. Music performed live by great artists like the still active Gaylord Carter. But Hollywood searched for a way to bring recorded sound to the screen. Finally, in 1926, this first ever public demonstration of the Vitaphone process.
Synchronizing the reproduction of sound with the reproduction of action.
History was made by recording sound onto a large record that played in time with the film. Just 1 year after the demonstration, Al Jolson in The Jazz Singer. Movies would never be the same.
Nothing but blue skies from now on. You like that, Mama?
No doubt The Jazz Singer is the most famous. Still, scores of Vitaphone films came out in the 20s. Many films that really did become silent because their Vitaphone discs disappeared.
And for years, these discs were thought to be lost. And then, last year, we found a collection of over 2,500 rare old Vitaphone discs at the Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank. And we found that many of them match up with the picture films.
After securing a major grant from AT&T, Robert Gitt began the restoration process. First, he transferred all sound from the old Vitaphone records to magnetic tape. Next, what to do with the damaged 65-year-old film. Here's where Robert Gitt shows why he's the best in the business of film restoration.
We printed the picture from the old nitrate print onto modern safety film, and we reduced the size of it to make room for the soundtrack here. And this is a modern type of soundtrack that we put on it, so it can be shown in theaters or on television or whatever.
Restored Vitaphone classics like The Lights of New York show silent film actors making the awkward transition to talkies. Many didn't make it.
What is this?
I don't know.
That's what they all say. You better speak up and save yourself a lot of grief.
While he restores the Vitaphone classics, Robert Gitt sometimes wonders how audiences of today would respond to these films if they saw them on a big screen. He doesn't have to wonder much longer. On this night, audiences are lining up here at Melnitz Theater on the UCLA campus for the West Coast premiere of the restored Darryl Zanuck classic, Noah's Ark.
When you're involved in film preservation and restoration, the idea isn't just to put the cans up on the shelf. I mean, you want people to see it. I mean, what's the point otherwise? So, yeah, it's very exciting when an audience comes out and enjoys the film.
And it was a film that had not been screened in its original form for more than 60 years. Audiences of today could see these still amazing flood sequences, sequences in which several extras died, prompting cinematographer Hal Moore to quit the film in protest. Sitting proudly in the audience, Robert Gitt watches in 2 hours what took more than a year of daily effort to restore. Certainly Noah's Ark is a film about miracles. In its own way, so is the story of how it made it back on screen. At least one notable fan in the audience that night would agree.
Bob Gitt works miracles on a daily basis, only he doesn't think of them as miracles. He thinks of them as his daily job, which it is. But he really is bringing films back from the dead.
For AMC in Hollywood, I'm Peter Jones.
What is it? Got a big black mustache. Smokes a big black cigar, and he's a big pain in the neck.
Travel to the mythical country of Fredonia.
I am willing to do anything to prevent this war.
It's too late. I've already paid a month's rent on the battlefield.
The Marx Brothers are taking over in the AMC classic Duck Soup. Thursday on AMC.
He was a disillusioned vet.
Don't wave any flags at me. I've seen enough flags.
Okay.
Soldier.
looking for easy money.
Do I get the 30 grand or do I drop it? It's going to be a pretty hot 30 grand. You sure you want it?
They've got a couple of bad boys out looking for you.
Best charm in the world. Keeps away the boogeyman.
But his luck is about to go bad.
I saw him dead.
Robert Montgomery directs and stars in this rich film noir, Ride the Pink Horse, premiering Monday, May 18th at 9 Eastern, only on AMC.
Coming soon on AMC.
This is Steve Van Dyke, Colonel, American Intelligence Headquarters, West Berlin, today. His mission, to bring back from the East Berlin underworld a GI kidnapped and held hostage. Who are the night people of the Berlin underworld? Who are these people who cloak their deeds in darkness, who sell their souls nightly in exchange for information, whose love is as treacherous as the deadly game they play, who terrorize innocent men and women in the dimness of deserted alleys? Yes, the night people are the violent people, bartering in human lives, dealing in the most shocking emotions you have ever known.
Christine, you're going to be a great and famous singer. I'll help you.
The Phantom of the Opera is possessed by his love.
Nothing matters except you and me, Christine. Now you will sing all you want, but only for me.
Nelson Eddy, Susanna Foster, and Claude Rains star in The Phantom of the Opera. Friday on AMC. Would Paul Douglas do it?
I don't know. It depends on what it is.
Would he do it for Linda Darnell?
You bet your sweet life I would.
Would Celeste Holm let him do it?
No, no, no.
And what'll she do when he does?
Oh!
You were doing what together? This is incredible.
I believe you're really nuts.
Everybody does it.
Stop raving mad.
Bingo!
It's an American movie classic. Saturday.
In a cluttered office in Hollywood, a man named Miles Krueger responds to his mail using a typewriter he's had more than 30 years. Miles will tell you most things were made better in the past. That's certainly true for the American art form whose history he works so hard to preserve. As he types away, what Miles Krueger really hears is music.
You were meant for me. When we're off
together, dancing cheek to cheek.
Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue.
Miles Krueger is the founder and sole employee of the Institute of the American Musical. He's quick to remind that in film, it was music, not the spoken word, that was recorded first.
The original impetus on the part of the Warner Brothers was to standardize instrumental musical accompaniment to movies so that the people living in the small towns would have the opportunity to hear a full orchestra just the way the people in the big cities did.
In 1927's The Jazz Singer, reputed to be the first talkie, Al Jolson sings first and then only ad-libs his spoken lines.
You like that, Mama? I'm glad of it.
In 1929 and 1930, the early days of talking pictures, 75 films were musicals. Miles Krueger knows what he's talking about. He's been in love with the art form since the age of 5, when he was given the 1940 soundtrack to Pinocchio. His record collection grew with his passion.
The funny thing was that theater and film in my life were so omnipresent because I went so frequently that it never occurred to me that people everywhere weren't going as often as I was.
Not just going, but this native New Yorker was also meeting a few people along the way. People like Ira Gershwin, Richard Rodgers, Harold Arlen.
And they gave me things. They gave me scripts, and they gave me scores and sheet music and all sorts of things because they were touched that someone so young would care about their work.
Oh, Miles Krueger cared all right. With what he received and collected, he formed the Institute of the American Musical in 1972. Thanks to donations, he was able to move the collection into this 17-room house in Los Angeles. Scholars can listen to any of 35,000 recordings in Miles Krueger's dining room.
By now you could guess Miles Krueger collects and preserves anything related to the motion picture industry. Consequently, the Institute of the American Musical houses one of the world's largest libraries on film and has a collection of movie stills second only to the one found at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. All this in Miles Krueger's second bedroom.
Musicals reached their peak in the 1950s, says Krueger, because with the old studio system, the same gifted people would work on each film.
The blending of all these talents was just perfect. And a film like Singing in the Rain reveals that. It's absolutely seamless, you know. And ever since then, I think the musical on both stage and film has been declining.
Nevertheless, Miles Krueger, the founder and sole employee of the Institute of the American Musical, stays hard at work. With more donations, he'd like to turn his dining room into a full-time research facility. Once in a while, when he needs a break or feels a bit nostalgic, Miles Krueger will dip into the archives and watch and listen to a little magic. For AMC in Hollywood, I'm Peter Jones.
You like that slapping business?
Roll on down the old Mississippi
The river.
with Bing Crosby,
You will remember.
W.C. Fields,
Something
and Joan Bennett.
If you don't hurry up and kiss me, I'm never going to...
Come aboard for love, laughter, and music by Rodgers and Hart. Booth Tarkington's Mississippi.
Sunday on AMC.
This is Mr. Mild-Mannered. This is his lovely wife. And so is this. But she's not so mild-mannered.
I'm one of the most faithful husbands that ever lived.
With a wife in every room.
And if he's married to her, and her, then who is this? And which one will marry Cary? Sparks fly when Cary Grant takes the stand in the comedy classic of marital mishaps, My Favorite Wife. Sunday on AMC.
Hi, I'm Gene Clavin with a little something for everyone tomorrow on AMC. First, we've got the perfect recipe for laughter with Duck Soup, one of the Marx Brothers' best-loved comedies. Then Jane Wyman stars as Lucy Gallant, a headstrong businesswoman who won't give up her independence for any guy, not even Charlton Heston. And our lineup continues with Mystery and Murder in The Big Clock, starring Charles Lawton, Ray Milland, and Maureen O'Sullivan. But that's tomorrow, and you have to tune in.
I'm a bad influence.
Dietrich and the Duke ignite the screen.
What were you thinking of?
Well, if you keep looking at me like that, I'm Liable to tell you.
When jaded bad girl
Imagine finding you here.
meets the Navy's golden boy,
I'm the type of girl you're liable to find anywhere.
the sparks start to fly.
Take care of him, big boy.
In the romantic South Seas adventure, Seven Sinners, premiering Wednesday, May 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on AMC.
All she wanted was a ticket back home.
I'm through. After 1 year and 25 jobs in New York, Susan Applegate is signing off.
All she could afford was a half-price fare.
Hello?
Now he thinks she's 12.
You know, Susu, you're a very peculiar child.
You bet I am.
And she thinks he's wonderful.
Susu, you're a knockout.
Ray Milland and Ginger Rogers in Billy Wilder's first American film, Major and the Minor. Premiering Saturday, May 16th at 9 Eastern, only on AMC.
24 hours a day, American Movie Classics brings back the glamour and excitement of Hollywood's golden age. Hi, I'm Bob Dorian. And if you love classic movies as much as I do, then the American Movie Classics magazine is just for you. It's your personal guide to AMC programming and the only magazine that takes you on a special journey behind the scenes of Hollywood's greatest movies and into the lives of its legendary stars. And in my exclusive movie column, I get the chance to personally answer letters from you, people all over the country who join me in thinking of these films as American Movie Classics.
Call 1-800-535-7700 and order American Movie Classics magazine. Each issue features daily schedules with easy-to-read, detailed descriptions of every movie and original program on AMC that month. Every issue profiles your favorite classic movie stars and follows them behind the camera. AMC Magazine is the only magazine dedicated to bringing you beautiful, rarely seen photographs, entertaining and intriguing stories of classic Hollywood's most glamorous and renowned stars, letters to AMC host Bob Dorian, and a look into forgotten movie palaces brought back to their original splendor and elegance. To order AMC Magazine and save 50% off the cover price, call 1-800-535-7700. You can use your Visa or MasterCard or send check or money order for $11.95 to AMC Magazine, P.O. Box 2065, Marion, Ohio 43305. That's American Movie Classics Magazine, 1-800-535-7700.
So bring the classic movie experience home by calling now and ordering American Movie Classics magazine.
He traded love and honor for a life of crime.
They won't recognize you. They won't. Even I didn't.
Yeah, but you can't change these.
And he returned to teach the next generation the tricks of his trade.
When you fight the idea to win, it don't matter how.
Together with the original Dead End Kids, director William Wyler makes a powerful statement about growing up on the streets. Humphrey Bogart, Claire Trevor, and Joel McRae star in Dead End. Coming up next on AMC. Sam Goldwyn would put up with a lot to make a successful film, but he had his limits. He had purchased the rights to a hit Broadway play. It was called Dead End. And one of the drawing cards was the delightful performances that were turned in by 6 teenage boys. When Goldwyn bought the film rights, he signed the same boys to 2-year contracts, a decision he would quickly regret. The movie they made was terrific. It was called Dead End, and it spawned a whole series of teenage juvenile delinquent films starring his Dead End kids. But they were not made at the studio, these movies. As soon as the picture was finished, he was thrilled to sell them and the Dead End Kids concept to Warner Brothers. He just could not afford to go around repairing all the damage that these kids left in their wake. The problem was that the Dead End Kids took their roles as juvenile delinquents a little bit too seriously, and they treated the studio lot like it was some kind of a private playground. They wrecked several cars and other assorted studio properties, which was not all that bad. But when they caused a truck to crash into a soundstage, Sam Goldwyn had it. He didn't care whether they became the most successful team in all of Hollywood history. He wanted them off the lot. but not before featuring them in a movie that would be nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, by the way. With the talent surrounding the teenage actors, it's no wonder that the movie came out right. It features Humphrey Bogart in a supporting role, and it stars Joel McCrea and Sylvia Sidney. Here they are in the dramatic story of life in a New York slum, Dead End.